social media. Yeah.
I used to live in the same building.
Oh, really?
I'm going to see the folks on Saturday. We just don't even bother on Thanksgiving usually. But my sister will do it with my parents, you know.
That's nice.
So up at the retirement community, you know.
Everybody's good?
Yeah, they're all doing well. So, but it won't be at the Silverton. It'll be at the Riderwood Senior Living Community. You liking your new location?
Yeah.
It is.
Very fortunate.
My sister
Hey, you got another dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's good. You know, Patrick still talks about your other dog. Yeah.
My girl. We got another German Shepherd. She's already the same size as the other one.
Lola was a big dog, definitely. Wow.
Focused on the, giving back the food, and then also been changed. Yeah, I'm doing good. I usually go to late for Thanksgiving from early in the morning, so it's my 4th time, so I'm excited to go, and it's like him and all his neighbors, and then it's like so it's him and his family, and the kids at this dinner all come back from college. That's just side show. But yeah. So this stuff that starts at like 9.
Yeah, or
So then I'll make a note. Because I'm working tomorrow, but then I'll be off.
yeah, you do that for the time.
Okay.
Mr. John Gonzalez, no?
I can flag it for her.
Yeah, he'll be working that morning.
He'll be morning.
Should be, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Probably doing Kelly, so. I think it's Christmas and New Year's. We're going to be doing the morning shift for 2 weeks. So.
I will be out of town. I'll have to find somebody else in that. Yeah, I'll bring it up.
Are you being strategic about your trip like that?
Yeah, well, no.
I don't know. Are you going to bring Terry?
Oh, no, I'm gonna, we're gonna figure out what
I see.
it's like a 2.5-week thing, so.
Okay.
Where are you going? Oh my gosh.
You do Duolingo Japanese?
Okay, so my wife has been doing it, and I've been lazy about it, but at some point I need to learn some key phrases.
Each year.
Niece in Silver Spring, she went to Japan with her school. They take Japanese.
Nice.
She loves it.
Yeah, she loves it.
Would you have to work all day?
No, I think
There you go. Nice.
Yep.
Charlie's like, you got to press it. I thought I was done.
I don't think I'm just going to move both my hands.
it, can they?
Usually just call him chief. Easier.
Chief Smith is out of town, or I would have seen her yesterday.
Yeah, I think so.
Depends on what they say.
Yeah, I mean, all the
Yeah, check,
details and everything will come from the.
Yes,
We'll
all
get
of it,
whatever
yeah.
the latest info is.
Thank you.
So a reported news, so. Mark. She's not doing the turkey trot or whatever that is this year, that she usually do that.
No, unfortunately not.
She's done that in the past though, right?
Yeah.
That's the guy, what says he shot her in it before, so.
And like the, yeah, it's right there, that's what my, so, trash. If you're seeing it.
Check, test, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, check, test, test. Check, test.
Check. Test. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Check. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3.
No, did you guys?
We should probably. That's cool. It is cool.
Thank you. Check. Test. You guys got me? We're using the presser mic.
It ends up not being that much more than if I was just working doing something. It's guaranteed.
Sorry, yeah.
I know, at this point.
If you see them, can you, I don't know, just tell me go like this or something?
Oh, upstairs.
What do you need?
Take her upstairs. Oh, I'm coming. I'm so hungry.
It's like to stay on it. There's always something. It makes sense. But yeah, so the bid results don't, they're not, even when they're slow with this and that. Yeah, I've got to find it. Just gotta say no to a few things. Yeah. That's only because.
Well, ladies, we actually have now moved, so we are in the office of the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, and as soon as that news conference begins, I will step out of the way. But right now, yes, at any moment that could begin with the U.S. Attorney for D.C., that is Judge Jeanine Pirro. We also have National Guard leaders, the FBI, D.C. Police, and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser. Now, just to recap here, it was around 2:15 yesterday, just blocks outside of the White House, when authorities say a targeted shooting, an ambush happened here on two National Guard members that we learned are from West Virginia. This was just outside of the Farragut West West Metro Station by 17th and I Streets Northwest. Now, this morning, Fox News is reporting, that is our parent station, reporting that through sources, the suspect worked with various United States government entities, including the CIA, as a member, a partner force in Afghanistan. They are naming that suspect through sources as 29-year-old Rahmanullah Lakhanwal, an Afghan national who came to the United States in 2021 under the Biden administration's Operation Allies Welcome, set up after the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan to evacuate and resettle Afghans during that time. Now, the suspect lived in Washington State, the only suspect being named at this time. No motive at this time as well. Now, West Virginia's governor had originally said the 2 Guard members shot were killed. He walked back those comments. D.C. police and the FBI later classifying the 2 military members in a news conference as critically injured. One of those members, we have learned his name, Mr. Wolf, named by his high school in a Facebook post, and they said that he was undergoing surgery in critical condition. I believe his name is Andrew Wolf. The whole community sending prayers across the country, prayers going out for these community members. Guys, we have nearly 2,200 National Guard members in D.C. And from other states who've been patrolling and helping to clean up the district, deployed after the president announced the federal surge on the district. Since August, we've seen them across the city. A judge recently ruled that deployment illegal and gave the Trump administration until December to appeal. In the wake of the shooting, the president is now planning for 500 more National Guard troops to be deployed to the district. A joint task force, we hear from them in updates, and they also tell us, guys, the numbers of members and what they're doing. That also includes when we say being deployed, the beautification process. It looks like the officials are going to walk in the room right now, so I'm going to step out of your way so we can listen in, guys.
Okay, for sure.
You did a great job.
I think it was just the photographer. That was your guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. That's right. Write all this down in advance, so I'm ready to tune in.
It is executive assistant Chuck.
Word. Yeah, Chuck Carroll. And I did too. My line was so bad. Maybe just assistant chief. Is that that's probably like some totally different thing. Jeff is J-E-F-F, right?
Yep.
Carroll is C-A.
2 R's, 2 L's.
Yeah, kidding. It's always different. Cash Patel's thing. Center High John is something again. If it's just that they call it something. Everybody is today. So you don't even want to be. You know, it went out. Went out away.
photographer. I'm not happy.
I probably won't.
It's Mac. No, not yet, not yet. It's Mac. Mac. Where's Mac? Upstairs. Not ready yet, guys.
I might not have.
I gotta go back upstairs. Can we put the design on the podium?
Can I display this here?
Hold off for 1 second. Turn it face up. Hold on.
Take it out. So I have an emergency card there. Pull it out. Like I said, let's do it. I basically come out of it. With the or this. That would be great. I would have to come. Let's do that. Shut up. So sorry.
Not so much. You hear me not going on?
That's the great. They want it really great. Kevin got and then called two times. Oh, really? Yeah, she said he worship.
Oh, yeah. I told her it would be helpful to have a second. She's like, no one's in town.
Yeah. I think it's one of the great ones. Was the second.
Yeah. Because you were already on the scene, right?
What?
You were already there.
I was kind of surprised it came down, honestly.
What do you mean? From the roof? Oh, I felt like I had enough.
Yeah.
Up there. So I was like, I need to get down before they want me to close up more. Yeah.
This stuff there? Even shot at that one. You know what you're up with?
Man, I'm sure it's going to go for real science. Without all the commercial BS goes there.
Oh my god. Maybe those ad dollars.
Did you grow up easily? Okay. I watched Tom Sherwood as a kid.
I see. I just completed 6 years here, and so that's the longest I've been anywhere in my life.
Hey, you've been here a while.
No, because I was born in Florida, raised in South Texas, and then I went to high school in Tennessee. So that kind of moved. It was like, no, they're teachers. But they were just like for immigrants, and they didn't necessarily have a big support system. So I feel like we kept like moving jobs. My dad was a professor. But then once we got to Nashville, we worked at Tennessee State, and then eventually, because my mom was like, she actually was she wasn't my Spanish teacher, but she was at my high school, which was nice. It was cute. It was cute.
Yeah.
Because we would, but then still, we would go to school separate. Because either she would go earlier, I would go later. But it was funny to see her. now they're translators for the school district. So they actually stayed right there. I did not want to go to UT because I associated UT with UT Texas, and so I was going to UT of all. I went to Florida. Big game. Yeah, no, I still not yet. I was there in 2019, so I'm hang up the exciting times, and since then it's just Bethesda.
Were you there for a national title?
No, so I was.
Forget to say they won one.
Yeah, they did, but I was there the year after.
I just thought it would be the coolest thing in the world to go to a school ball. They won the national title.
I was there when they almost took it for granted, because that season they win every game, but then they lose in SEC champs. And it's like we weren't expecting them to, because I saw the documentary later, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's like, I don't remember that they were undefeated all season, because we were just like, we expect this. So,
Did that keep them from the title game that year? That was back when there was BCS, right?
yeah, so they
Only the top two.
so then they couldn't go because they lost to Alabama. But they talk about that in the documentary, that team, that pressure, they felt like it wasn't fun anymore. Like the years prior, the game was fun, and at that point, they just felt this immense pressure of like, we gotta do it again. And then since then, we haven't found a solid coach.
Yeah, that's been struggles since football anyway.
Yeah.
Boys are great. I missed the American basketball championship by 2 years. I saw the build-up to
You saw the
it.
build-up to
Yeah.
it? Okay, so then it happens after the fact.
Yeah, like I saw, like Liner fix it, still well known for reality shows, but like I saw, his freshman, sophomore year, so I saw the nucleus that
Okay,
went
like
on to
the
win
forming,
it, but
okay.
Signed Blake, who was a guard, whose son now plays for the team, but
Oh, that's nice. That's a cool show.
missed the championship by 2 years. Even the football team lost the ACC the next year and got murdered by Florida in a bowling green. But I was at it too because I got a job reporting out of Naples. They played Florida.
Okay.
But Florida, we had a great team that year, but you guys killed us.
We played against, it was like the New Year's Day bowl in New Orleans.
Sugar Bowl?
The Sugar Bowl, yeah. I remember it.
All right, so
But we learned too much.
We have another one.
We both was in a bowl, huh?
All right. Come on, Mayor.
Okay.
Next to me, Mayor.
Okay.
All right, Alicia, you know where to go. Where's Blanchard? There he is. Okay, good. You know, it seems like we've been here before. Is this working? Is this on? Where's... It's working? All right. Thank you all for being here on this difficult day. As you know, my name is Janine Pirro. I am the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, and I am joined here by several individuals who represent agencies who have been working around the clock since this horrific event happened. To my left, we have the director of the FBI. We have General Leland Blanchard of the National Guard. Mayor Bowser is here as well. We have Frank Saldana of the DEA, Chris Hecht of DHS, Executive Assistant Chief Jeffrey Carroll of the MPD, Darren Cox of the Washington FBI Field Office, and a Special Agent in Charge, Samuel Ward of the ATF in Washington. Now, I want to provide you with an update on the tragic shooting that occurred on two brave members of the West Virginia National Guard as they served in Washington, D.C. Unfortunately, today, as most families join together to give thanks for the blessings that have been bestowed upon them, two families are shattered and destroyed and torn apart as a result of the actions of one man. First and foremost, our hearts go out to the victims and their families. These are dedicated service members who were performing their duties in service to our nation, and they are currently in critical condition. They have undergone surgery. We pray for their well-being as they continue to be cared for in the best possible way. We have been in constant contact with their families and have provided them with every resource needed during this difficult time. The two National Guardsmen that we're talking about are Sarah Beckstrom, who's 20 years old, and Andrew Wolf, who is 24 years old. They were uniformed members of the West Virginia National Guard, and they were in D.C. to keep D.C. safe, pursuant to President Trump's executive order to make D.C. safe and beautiful. They answered the call, they took the charge, they volunteered, they put their lives on the line for people they don't even know. And that, unfortunately, is becoming a reality more and more for the members of law enforcement. Yesterday on Thanksgiving Eve at approximately 2:15, near 17th and I Streets in the northwest section of the district, near the Farragut West Metro Station, two uniformed guardsmen were ambushed in a brazen and targeted attack. A lone gunman opened fire without provocation, ambush style, armed with a .357 Smith & Wesson revolver. One guardsman is struck, goes down, and then the shooter leans over and strikes the guardsman again. Another guardsman is struck several times. Fellow guardsmen who were there responded immediately, engaging the suspect, neutralizing the threat, and subduing him at the scene. He was transported to a local hospital where he remains, as we speak, under heavy guard. Thanks to the swift and coordinated response of the National Guard and the Metropolitan Police Department, no additional victims were harmed, and the scene was secured within minutes. The suspect, he has been identified as Ramanullah Lakhanwal, a 29-year-old Afghan who entered the United States under Biden's Operation Allies Welcome, a program following the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. He resided in Bellingham, Washington with his wife and, we believe, 5 children. And we're working very closely with our federal partners, especially DHS and the FBI, to review his immigration history and the vetting process itself. What we know about him is that he drove his vehicle across country from the state of Washington with the intended target of coming to our nation's capital. As we stand here today, the charges that are appropriate right now are 3 counts of assault with intent to kill while armed, a violation of DC Code 22-401 and DC Code 22-4502. He will also be charged with possession of a firearm during a crime of violence. He faces 15 years under the assault with the intent to kill. We intend to continue monitoring what the charges will be, depending upon the well-being of the guardsmen. We are praying that they survive and that the highest charge will not have to be murder in the first degree. But make no mistake, if they do not, that will certainly be the charge, murder in the first degree. The Department of Justice, under Attorney General Pam Bondi, is committed to a thorough and an impartial investigation where we will hold this perpetrator accountable under the full weight of the law. Now, Sarah and Andrew volunteered. They came here to protect the people of the district, pursuant to a crime emergency that President Trump rightly declared in this city and in other cities across the country. Our nation's capital should not and must not be a place where evil comes to commit violence, whatever their cause or motive may be. We should not have to live in fear in the nation's capital, especially by one who came here from a foreign country. And through a process that was so absurd that he came through and released into this country, as many were, knowing virtually nothing about his vetting. This is what happens in this country when people are allowed in who are not properly vetted. These guardsmen and all who are here to protect the district are the line that separates a civilized society from a barbaric one. They are the ones who stand for law and order. This was not just an attack. It was a direct challenge to law and order in our nation's capital, and the individual will be made fully accountable. And though it seems that we have been here before under President Trump, make no mistake, and the Attorney General, we will not allow this to be normalized. It will be confronted, condemned, and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Now, my message to the individual who committed these acts is you picked the wrong target, the wrong city, and the wrong country, and you will be sorry for the violence and the evil that you perpetrated in our nation's capital. And now I call upon the Director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
Thanks, Judge. I'll begin my remarks and end my remarks the same way, with prayer for our fallen soldiers, prayer for our law enforcement community, prayer for our National Guardsmen and women, prayer for our brave prosecutors at the Department of Justice and the offices of the D.C. United States Attorney. We must come together as a nation, especially on this Thanksgiving Day, and remember the sacrifices that so many are making around the world and around this country to secure our freedoms under President Trump's brilliant leadership and administration. I'll provide an update on the case as follows. It is an ongoing investigation of terrorism. Make no mistake about it. The FBI is leading out on this federal assault on a federal law enforcement officer investigation on many fronts. We immediately, with our law enforcement partners in the Metropolitan Police Department and the interagency, secured the scene, seized the weapon, sent in our evidence response team immediately to collect evidence, and started doing block-by-block canvasses. We are looking for and interviewing witnesses. The firearm and other materials have been sent to our Quantico laboratory already yesterday for immediate analysis. That work is ongoing. Partnering with the D.C. United States Attorney's Office, we have also executed multiple search warrants around the country, to include the subject's last known residence, which is in the state of Washington. The search warrant was executed on that house last night or early this morning, and it is an ongoing process. All the individuals found in the house have been interviewed, and some interviews remain ongoing. We will not stop until we interview anyone and everyone associated with the subject, the house, and every piece of his life. There is also subject interviews relations conducted in San Diego, pursuant to our ongoing investigation. So, as the judge noted, this is a coast-to-coast investigation being led right here in Washington, D.C., and this subject definitely did pick the wrong country. And we will rise together as a nation to show the world what we do here. And we are thankful that we have the Attorney General's brave leadership and President Trump's brave leadership and priorities to safeguard our communities. I also spoke to Director of the CIA, John Ratcliffe, last night, and Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. There is confirmation now that the subject had a relationship in Afghanistan with partner forces. We are fully investigating that aspect of his background as well, to include any known associates that are either overseas or here in the United States of America. That is what a broad-based international terrorism investigation looks like. We will provide continuous details to the American public while at the same time not jeopardizing the ongoing prosecution to ultimately hold this perpetrator accountable in our courts of law. We will provide as much transparency as possible, but as you can see, the breadth and scope of this investigation will continue. We will continue to hit the streets and hit every town and every house and talk to every witness. The men and women of the FBI and the Metropolitan Police Department and the interagency, to include the Department of Homeland Security, DEA, and ATF, are working tirelessly on this Thanksgiving Day. And I know just by talking to the leaders behind me that instead of going on and being with their families, everyone rogered up and showed up to work today. And none of them want to go home. That's the resolve that we have together as a team to bring to you justice for this heinous act of terrorism here in our nation's capital. And as the judge said, we will ensure that our law enforcement partners are out there in full force to make sure the world can enjoy our nation's capital. We will not let this heinous act of violence prevent people from visiting our beautiful nation's capital. And we will also continue to highlight any evidence that we can publicly. And as the judge said, this individual is in this country for one reason and one reason alone, because of the disastrous withdrawal from the Biden administration and the failure to vet in any way, shape, or form, this individual and countless others, and this administration has taken the rightful step to stop any further allowance of people with this similar background into the country, and we're thankful for that. And as I said, this investigation remains ongoing, and I think I'll turn it over to General Blanchard of the National Guard now. Thank you.
Thank you, Director.
All across America this morning, families are waking up. They'll spend the day with their children, their brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, friends from across the community. There will be the smell of turkey, all the fixings. They'll watch parades, football games. They'll pray together. They'll talk about what they're grateful for. This morning, there are two families that will not have that opportunity. Andy and Sarah's families, they're spending the day reflecting on the past. And in the days coming, they'll reflect on and think about what could have been, what might be. Because regardless of the outcome, we know that their lives, their families' lives are all changed forever. Because one person decided to do this horrific and evil thing. And all across America, we are also reminded that there are many law enforcement agents, first responders, soldiers, service members all around the world who at best will come home, eat some cold turkey, open up Tupperware, eat what's left over, because they spent the day defending the American ideals, getting out there and getting after it on every American citizen's behalf. I will say that the District of Columbia National Guard, this task force, is more committed this morning to the President's directive to make D.C. safe and beautiful. Our resolve will be tested. It is being tested, but make no mistake, each and every one of these soldiers and airmen will meet and exceed the expectation that we have for them. They are, in fact, America's best. I'm proud of each and every one of them. I pray for each and every one of them today, and in particular for these two young service members who are willing to go above and beyond and pay whatever price our nation asks of them. I ask every American today to keep them in their thoughts and prayers as you go about your day. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Mayor, where's Mayor Bowser? Yeah.
Thank you, Judge. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C., and I want to associate myself with the remarks of our Adjutant General from the D.C. National Guard. I want to be very clear what the judge and everyone has reported here. Somebody drove across the country, came to Washington, D.C. to attack America. And that person will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. These young people should be at home in West Virginia with their families.
ATF, anybody? DHS? Anyone? Okay. I also want to say that both Sarah and Andrew, I believe, were sworn in less than 24 hours before they were shot on the street in Washington. Any questions?
Could you drill down on a possible motive? Have you got any information and intelligence on a possible motive for the shooting?
You know, as the directors indicated, this is a fluid investigation. People are working around the clock. It's too soon to say what the motive is, but there are definitely areas that we're looking into, but not ready to say.
Can you characterize a little bit about how the assailant was taken down after he opened fire?
Yeah, he got shot
But by another guard?
by another guardsman, yeah.
And you mentioned earlier that he had, the shooter had initially, shot one of the guardsmen, then leaned over as they were
Shot him again.
Shot again.
Yep.
How many shots are we?
Well, the specific number, look, he had a .357 Smith & Wesson revolver. Okay, so I believe that's a six-shooter. Yeah. So, you know, that kind of tells us how many shots he had. Yes.
Judge, you had mentioned we've been here before because we have. It was May when we were last here.
Yeah.
I want to ask if you could please comment to, obviously, we understand that you're saying this is under the Biden administration, and the words are that it was a failed withdrawal, and what happened there. There are people who are also upset with the president believing that the National Guard members should not even have been there if it were not for the executive order.
I don't even want to talk about whether they should have been there. We ought to kiss the ground and thank God that the president said it's time to bring in more law enforcement to make sure that a city that had the fourth highest homicide rate in the country was that violence was quelled. I'm not even going to go there.
A question for Director Patel. Was the suspect granted asylum, and if so, when did that happen, under which administration, and did authorities miss any signs, either in the asylum process or even back when he reportedly worked for the CIA? If you could talk about that.
Well, you miss all the signs when you do absolutely zero vetting. And that's exactly what happened in this case. When you, in the prior administration, made the decision to allow thousands of people into this country without doing a single piece of background checking or vetting, that's how you miss every single sign. And Secretary Kristi Noem has put out details specifically related to your other questions, so I'll let that speak for themselves.
Specificity of when he was granted, if or when he was granted asylum, if you could just clarify that timeline and.
Yes, I believe Kristi Noem put that out, and that's a DHS matter, and I'll refer it to them.
Could you elaborate on the investigative steps that were taken
Sure.
in San Diego? You mentioned Bellingham, Washington.
Sure.
But could you explain the San Diego connection?
So what happened was, thanks to the quick investigation by the interagency and the FBI, we were able to track down his last known residence, working with the United States Attorney's offices here and at the Department of Justice and prosecutors across the country. We were able to serve search warrants literally overnight and through the night.
All night.
And we were able to hit the house in Washington State. During that process, we seized numerous electronic devices to include cell phones, laptops, iPads, and other material that is being analyzed as we speak. Pursuant to that investigation and any known associates of the subject and of that house is how we ended up in San Diego, where interviews were conducted and are going to be continued to be conducted. And we will go anywhere in the country or the world where the evidence leads us.
Are there accomplices, relationships in San Diego you can talk about?
All of that is an ongoing investigation.
Can anyone give an update as far as Sarah and Andrew who were injured? You say critical condition. Can you give anything beyond that? Are they expected to make it? Is it touch and go? Can you tell us a little more about how they're doing?
And the full spelling of their names, please.
It is Sarah Beckstrom, Beckstrom, and Andrew Wolfe with an E, Wolfe. Okay, and Sarah Beckstrom.
How do you spell Sarah?
Oh, S with an H. Okay. Now, with respect to their medical condition, as I said, they are receiving the finest medical care. Their families are with them now. They are critical. I think you understand the meaning of that. It's not clear, how this is going to end up. But let me be perfectly clear about how it will end up in this office. If one of them is to pass, and God forbid that happens, this is a murder one, period, end of the story. We are praying on a day like today when families come together in America and they hold hands around the Thanksgiving table. I beg you, I beseech you to pray for these two young people, that they survive. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Happy.
Yeah, we're not going there. We're not going there. No. Thank you.
Decision not to charge him as a terrorist?
What about the asylum process that led him to get asylum